So this is your Christmas present. Merry Christmas. It's Emily in 2023 Christmas. So I was asked to do a couple questions. So what is the first memory that I have with you? I would say when you used to pick me up from preschool, and you, sometimes Hayden and I would go to Dairy Queen and get cones with sprinkles on top every time. Always the same thing. What was your favorite thing to do when you go to grandma's? I think climbing the tree in the front yard is the most memorable because we did that for so long. I remember when Rachel got stuck in the tree and Jacob had to come save her. What makes you laugh with Gma? Well, Grandma's a pretty spunky lady, so pretty much everything makes me laugh with her. But anything about her and my dad bickering, I think that's just the funniest thing. Like, he makes fun of her perfume. I just think that's so funny, and it always makes me laugh. Is there a favorite game you like to play at Grandma's house? I remember we used to play Phase 10 and Skip-Bo a lot, and Uno. When you went to the bathroom, I used to stack the deck and win every time. And you would always ask me, are you stacking the deck? And I was like, no, that never happened. Is there a favorite game you like to play at Grandma's house? I already said that. Never mind. What favorite place did Grandma take you when you were with her? I don't know. I just love when Grandma goes on all of our trips with us. I don't really have like a specific place. I mean, I like when we go out to Fireside and JT's and have a little lunch date. She used to pick me up from school all the time, and you used to get me food like every day. You would be like, what do you want today? What is your favorite memory of Grandpa? I would say that my favorite memory is when Hayden and I used to try and get money out of him. So we would ask him if we could wash the tractor, even though we probably did it like the week before, because he would give us like probably like $1, but I'm thinking like $5. But you used to tell him he wasn't allowed to pay us and that we couldn't do that anymore, but we still did it. Oh, and also wheelchair racing. When we had all of the stuff, we would wheelchair race down the driveway when you weren't looking. So that's funny. Looking back, what made you feel special when you stayed at Grandma's house? Well, I still currently stay at Grandma's house, and it makes me feel special when she calls the spare room my room. She'll be like, I got you a new bed, I got you new sheets, I got you a new comforter. I'm like, thanks, Grandma. But definitely, she used to make me breakfast. Every time I stayed over there, she would make me breakfast in the morning. It was either waffles with butter and syrup or pancakes with butter and jam. And you would braid my hair every time. And we would go to church in the morning. And I loved that. We would have so much fun. One time you braided my hair French braid and Dutch braid, 2 different ones. And that was hilarious because I had to go all day at church like that. Okay, well, I hope you like this video, and I love you so much. Merry Christmas.
Hi, this is for Linda for Christmas 2023. Kind of something that my wonderful wife, your beautiful daughter, has set up. So, because when you get someone that has everything, right? So we're giving you something a little bit different this year. Hopefully you appreciate it. Some questions that Amy has provided. I'm just going to read them and answer the questions. So, what's my first memory of meeting Dan and Linda? I remember probably Linda or Dan picking her up from youth group back in the day, And the first date that we went on was like, Dan was going turkey hunting the next morning, so he had his shotgun out literally on the counter or on the table cleaning it, and invited me in. And I didn't grow up around guns or anything, so I was kind of freaked out. But both very nice and welcoming and happy ever after, right? Favorite memory, gathering as a family. It used to drive me crazy going over to Grandma and Grandpa Yeager's every Friday when Amy and I were dating. We got to go over there and play cards. And then after a while, after Grandpa passed away and we stopped doing that, I really missed going over there and hanging out with everybody. Maybe not every Friday, but like every other Friday would have been good too. But what made us laugh together, Linda, you and I laugh all the time. I rag on you just as much as you rag on me, so don't tell people that I'm mean to you, because you're just as mean to me. Favorite meal? Probably I enjoy making ribs for you. Even if they're not perfectly fall off the bone, you still eat them and you don't complain, and I just appreciate that you appreciate my cooking. I very much appreciate you raising your daughter, my wife, the way you did. She loves everyone and puts others first all the time, even me when I'm grumpy and have bad knees and or surgeries or COVID or whatever. She takes care of me, and we're teaching her to cook too. She's sitting right here, keeping an eye on me. What do I appreciate as a grandparents for you, Linda? Just how you're always there for the girls. They call you all the time. I never really had the opportunity to call my grandparents when I was their age, because both of my grandparents had passed away. So the support and love you give them unconditionally, Aiden and Grayson also. But no matter what, they know that they can go to you and you will, help them out or just listen, or talk them through whatever issue they're having, or just be there to laugh with them also. Favorite memory? Probably, Linda, taking you zip lining in Tennessee. Was it Tennessee or North Carolina? You did not want to do that, but I think you had the most fun out of all of us even. And I do have videos of that. We can show that at a later date. But always, all the trips that you go on with us, hope there's many more to come. But we've had some good times, definitely. Let's see. That's it. I just really love you and appreciate you. And we'll always be here for you, whatever you need. Love you. Bye.
Hi Grandma, this is Ashley, 2023 Christmas. Merry Christmas! This is your Christmas gift. I think that my first memory with you is probably eating popcorn at your house, or making forts with you. What was my favorite thing that I did with you? Make forts when I was little, and now my favorite thing is to go out to Mexican food with you. What makes me laugh with you? Everything. We're just always laughing, and I think you're so funny. What's my favorite thing to eat at your house? Breakfast. I love eating oatmeal and toast, and also chai tea at your house. You make the best breakfast, and I know it's only because you make it. No matter how many times you tell me how to make it, I'll never make it right because you have to make it for me. That's the secret ingredient that I'm missing, is you making it for me. I don't think there's a favorite game that I would play at your house. I like playing Uno with you. But I do have a least favorite game, and that's Othello. I'm not playing that game with you again unless I'm winning, and then I will be playing with you if I'm winning. But also you need to give me a sheet of the rules so I know what's going on. What favorite place did you take me to when I was younger? Probably, I feel like we ate at Casa Real quite a bit, sticking with the Mexican food, or Dairy Queen. We also went to Dairy Queen a lot. What is my favorite memory of Grandpa? Probably every time that he asked for a shoulder rub, because I remember specifically, like, Mom whispering in my ear, she was like, he's gonna ask for a shoulder rub, and then he would, like, right after, and it was so funny. What always makes me feel special when I stay at your house is the breakfast in the morning, and also chai tea, and also popcorn, and just spending time with you and playing games with you. I love you so much. Merry Christmas.
Look at Dan. What is your first memory of Grandma?
Playing wiffle ball with her in her front yard or backyard.
Okay. What was your favorite thing you do when you go to Grandma's?
Play sequence and eat whatever I want.
What makes you laugh with Grandma?
Beating her in sequence.
What is your favorite thing to eat at Grandma's?
Shakes.
Is there a favorite game you like to play at Grandma's house?
Sequence.
What favorite place did Grandma take you when you were with her?
5 Below.
What is your favorite memory of Grandpa? Do you remember Grandpa? Or a memory?
I remember I used to just go say hi to him when he was in his room a bunch.
Okay. Looking back, what made you feel special when you stayed at Grandma's house?
She would always let me eat whatever I want and didn't care what I ate and stuff, and let me do whatever I want.
Okay. Any message to send to Grandma?
Hi, I love you.
Hello, Merry Christmas 2023. I am extra grateful to be celebrating Christmas this year with my mom, and we've put together some questions and answers of memories and different childhood things that we wanted to share with you, and to give us some insight from different perspective of what it was like growing up. And the first question is, what is your favorite memory of your childhood? And I would say one of my favorite memories is going out on the boat on a sunny afternoon and having Dad tool around the lake looking for fishing or swimming spots, and reading a book and laying in the sun, and we would always have bologna cheese and crackers. That was always fun to me. What was your favorite Christmas present? And I would say when you and Dad built me the dollhouse, I thought that was extra special. And I didn't know what you guys were putting together in the basement. I tried to peek through the workshop walls to see, but I really appreciated that dollhouse. What was your favorite Christmas memory? I loved listening to the Statler Brothers and the Christmas music that was in like Brenda Lee rocking around the Christmas tree, and just spending time with my family. What is your favorite meal that you shared? I love when we have leftover roast and we put everything together and call it meat pie. That's a comfort food. What is one thing that you appreciated about your dad growing up? I really loved how my dad was always kind. We could get him worked up a little bit, but he was never mean, and he always would talk to everybody, and I appreciate that about him. What is one thing you appreciate about your mom? That she was always there for us and always there for all of our friends too. What is your favorite family vacation that you remember? And I would say all the camping experiences we had, especially going with Aunt Judy and Uncle Bob and Cindy and Diane and everybody. We had so much fun on those trips. Never a dull moment, especially with Uncle Bob. What is your favorite memory of your grandparents? I miss my grandpa's smile and his laughter. That is embedded in my soul. I love that, and I miss him. I miss my grandma and her sense of humor, and I loved that she had a sense of humor and that they got along by bickering, and I miss her cinnamon rolls. What trait do you think you inherited from your mom? I think I got my mom's spiciness, and I think I got my dad's ability to talk to anyone, and I really appreciate both of those. What is one thing that you miss most about your childhood and living at home? I would say I miss living at home because I don't want to figure out what we're having for dinner every night, and having to clean and being an adult is not always the most fun. And being able to come and go as you please, which is a little different now that we're empty nesters. But anyway, I really appreciated my childhood, and I love you, and I hope you love this gift. Thanks. Bye.
Hi there, Linda. We've decided that we would like to share all of our favorite family memories of you and Dan over the years, and all of the things that we've done as a family. So the first thing is, what is my first memory of meeting Dan and Linda? Well, my first memory of meeting Dan and Linda was I was 19. It was 1999. Amy was working at Sparrow, so Andy took me down to have dinner with the family. We were going to go out to dinner, and Cindy and Stuart were in from Ohio. Shelby was a baby, so we all met at the apartment, and Aunt Diane was with us as well. And then we headed to a restaurant, and I remember everybody was very welcoming to me, and it was very nice. Two things I remember. Aunt Diane was driving, which I thought was totally crazy, but Andy assured me that she doesn't let anybody drive. So she drove all of us to the restaurant. And then I remember Amy accidentally playing with Shelby and hitting her head on the dinner table at the restaurant. That was my first memory of meeting Dan and Linda and Amy and Kevin and the family, and everybody was very welcoming. It says, looking back, what was your favorite memory of gathering as a family? I think my favorite memory has always been Christmas Eve. Especially, I know it was tight, but especially at Grandma and Grandpa's when we used to do it in the living room my first few years. And then as the family expanded, we would do it in the garage, in the little tiny warm house that they had. But that's probably my favorite memory, and I still enjoy that even though it's changed over the years. I'm looking forward to this year finally getting together again at Uncle Tom's. What made you laugh together? Oh, probably lots and lots of things have always made me laugh. The way Dan used to always talk about Funniest Home Videos and how he never liked that other guy before. That was always funny when we would, on Sundays, on Sunday dinners, when we would always watch America's Funniest Home Videos together. Dan and his dancing, that was always funny, and the way he would dance. His jokes always made me laugh. The family all together. But definitely, Dan was always very witty and fun, and always had a good sense of humor. My favorite meal, I'm sure you know, Linda, my favorite meal and Amy's favorite meal, which I haven't had in years, we have to figure out a way to do it, is definitely the croissants with the chicken salad in them. So if we can figure out a way to do those croissants that are gluten-free, it's probably been about 7 years since I've had one, but you know that was always my birthday meal and Amy's birthday meal and our favorite. I think you made it for me when I had both of my babies and brought it over. Oh, and also the chocolate chip cookies, which you did for both of the babies too. And you told me to put them in the freezer and not let anybody see them, and they were just for me. What traditions were different than your family? The biggest one I remember is probably when we started dating, we would always want to spend Christmas mornings together. So Andy would come to my house and do Christmas with my family and then my sister, and then we would always come back. Your family tradition was you always made biscuits and gravy. And your whole family would come over on Christmas Day. So that is one tradition that we don't have. And I know that you haven't done it in a few years, but I will tell you that your grandson, Hayden, has fallen in love with biscuits and gravy, and he has not had yours yet. So we were just talking about that last night. He ordered them from a restaurant, and Andy said, these definitely aren't Grandma's gravy and biscuits, so you're gonna have to make that for him soon. What do I appreciate about how you raised your spouse? So the way that you raised Andy, he treats his wife like he treats his mom. And that's something that my dad always said, that you need to watch how a man treats his mom, because that's how he will treat his wife. And he is kind of a mama's boy, and I know he's probably grown a little bit out of it, but he definitely respects his mom and appreciates everything his mom has done. She's taught him good morals and good values, and I think that's a great thing, and he's a great man, and he really supports myself and our family, so I appreciate you doing that. What did you appreciate about that? What do I appreciate you about grandparents? You guys have always just dropped anything that, anytime I needed something, you were always there. Even when Dan was alive, I remember, for example, when my sister moved to Rochester, and it was a Saturday night. Andy was gone somewhere, I don't know where, but I had both kids. They were little, and Andy and I were going to move Julie and Dave on Sunday, but on Saturday night, my sister begged for me to come down and organize her closet, color code it, because you know how I'm good at that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to go down there. And I just called and said, hey, I think Grayson was like 6 months old. He was. And Hayden would have been 3. And it was a cold winter Saturday night. And I asked if you would maybe come over and just watch them so I could run to Rochester for a couple hours. And you were watching them all day Sunday while Andy and I were going. So absolutely, you came right over and you watched them while I could go. Also, I remember when Grayson was born, and I had a concert 3 weeks after first a wedding a week after, and then a concert 3 weeks after, and my sister's wedding 3 months after, and you guys always stepped up and made sure that my babies were taken care of, and they appreciate it, and they love you, and they love being around you. A favorite memory looking back, there's lots of them, and I've shared lots of them. Probably the summer vacations we used to do before we were married, when we were dating, when we would go with Tom and Nancy and their kids and us and Stacy that year. That was probably one of my favorite years, in the big house in Indian River. That was a lot of, well, I guess the year before too, when Nancy told me I couldn't use her nail polish, and I got all, but she was joking with me. That was a funny memory. Oh, and the best memory would be of when Kevin decided to tell us, oh, take me, take me, take me. And he jumped out of the boat and his whole bathing suit came down. And then we had to delete it. That was a good one. What trait do you think Andy inherited from your mom? I know he fights for his family, like his mom. He's like a papa bear, where Linda's like a mama bear. Her grandkids and her kids and their spouses are very important to her, And Andy is actually very much the same way. So I like that from him, that he's gotten from you, Linda. And from Andy, or what trait did Andy inherit from his dad? Well, lots. He is a very honest man. I think Dan was a very honest man. His love for the outdoors and hunting, which now is carried on to my boys, is amazing. He's just a great guy. He reminds me of Dan a lot. Looks, mannerisms, all of it. But Dan was a wonderful man. And we miss him a lot. But Merry Christmas. We just wanted to share some memories with you. I could go on and on about over the years. I've been around for 24 years now. So I've been around more than I haven't been around. So we just want to tell you that we love you and appreciate you. Have a Merry Christmas.
Finally got around to doing the taping. My favorite childhood memory would probably be playing football, baseball with the kids in the neighborhood. It was a very simpler time back then. If you wanted to find out where all the kids were at, all you had to do was go find where all the bikes were at. My favorite Christmas present was probably the year that we got the TV and the Nintendo for Christmas. My favorite Christmas memory would be the years that we spent in Grandma and Grandpa's living room in that tiny house with the whole family. My favorite meal, I would have to say, would be chicken croissants. We used to eat them often until Sarah went and got the celiacs, and I don't think I've had them since. Just kidding. All right, I gotta go to my notes here, sorry. The one thing I appreciate about my mom, I would have to say, always being there for me no matter what the circumstances was. And for my dad, I would have to say that would be teaching me the love for the outdoors. The favorite family vacations that I remember was always going up north every summer for a week with Bob and Judy. And that's where I learned from being bossed around by Cindy, Diane, Amy, and my Uncle Bob, that when I grew older, I would never let anybody push me around again. LOL, just kidding. Favorite memory about my grandparents would have to be the Friday night card games. Nick and I were just talking a few weeks ago about starting those back up. I would say the trait that I inherited from my mom would be probably her cooking. And I think Sarah appreciates that too. The trait that I inherited from my dad, I would say the handiness. Being able to do projects around my house after Sarah and I got married. But the older I get, I don't want to do those anymore, and now I just pay somebody to do them. And the trait that I inherited, I'm sorry, and the most thing I remember, I'm sorry, again, I'm not gonna redo this because I'm already almost 4 minutes into it. The thing I miss most about my childhood and living at home would be having my mom and dad pay the bills and taking care of everything so I didn't have to. Mom, I love you. Merry Christmas.
My first memory of Grandma is when I stayed at her house when my parents were at the hospital having Grayson, and then we went up to the hospital and saw him. My favorite thing I do when I'm at Grandma's is mow her lawn and eat all her food. And what makes me laugh with Grandma is when we talk about stories of my dad when he was a kid and all the stuff he used to do. My favorite thing to eat at Grandma's is waffles, and my favorite game we play at Grandma's is skip-bo, probably. And my favorite place Grandma would take us is she used to take us to Toys R Us all the time, and then Gander Mountain when it was still open. My favorite memory of Grandpa is when I was younger, when I asked him why his fingers weren't straight and why he couldn't make them straight. And looking back, what made me feel special at Grandma's is when she would make me any food I wanted, whenever I wanted it.